Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to, is this working? Can you hear me? All right. Welcome to, what'd you just say, Natalie? Okay, thank you. Welcome to Bloomington's weekly celebration of service. My name is Tracy Ivanovich, and I'm honored to serve as your president. Thought for the day, get in good trouble, necessary trouble, and redeem the soul of America.
Oh,
John Lewis made this statement on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama on March 1st, 2020, commemorating the tragic events of Bloody Sunday.
Drawing from that.
Now it's kind of loud. We were fortunate to see this in action on Saturday, good trouble that is, and it was safe and orderly. And I saw many of our fellow Rotarians out there both Saturday as well as Monday at the voting center, practicing our civic responsibility, which is what we do in Rotary. On that note, Lance, is Lance here, Everly? Okay, then we'll move right on. We'll do our introduction of guests. Katie? I saw you sit down. I was like, get her now.
Hey, hello everyone. We have 8 guests in person today, so let's be sure to welcome them. Our first guest, so when I say your name, if you can please stand up so we can recognize you. Our first guest is Kim Gray, who is a guest of, Liz Feidel. Thank you. I'm new at this. I'm so sorry. Thank you. And next we have Doug Bruce, who is a guest of John, oh boy, okay, Whikart. Thank you. I'll learn these names. Welcome, Doug. Next we have Andy Ruff, who is also a guest of Liz Feidel. And now we have Nancy, let me know if I'm saying this correctly, Berner, thank you, who is a guest of Judy Schroeder. Thank you. Next, Vince Isom. Did I say that correctly? And he's a guest of Patrick Smith. Welcome. Next, we have Yaya, Cater? All right, from Rotaract. Yes, good to see you, Yaya. Next, we have Sabina Al-Fadal, who is also in Rotaract. Welcome, Sabina. And last for in person is Catherine Vandry, who is a guest of Jim Bright. And do we have any guests online?
Hi there, and no, we do not.
All right, thanks, Joy.
You're welcome.
All right, I love seeing new faces. And yes, it's always, thank goodness you didn't have to announce my last name. So there you go. And with that, Lance, you snuck in. I think you were having challenges with parking, if I'm to guess, because today's been quite a drama out in the parking lot. So with that, Lance is going to share with us a reflection from his presidency's time.
Yeah, again, just made it just in time. What's a Rotary meeting without some parking issues? But yeah, again, appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit of the reflection of my presidency year. It's been hard to believe that over 10 years have passed since I had the privilege to serve as the president of the Bloomington Rotary Club. I still have vivid memories when I came in and had the changeover meeting of having at that time my 9-month-old son, who actually crawled up and gave me a sitting ovation when I gave my speech at that time. It's hard to believe that that same person is now 12 and doesn't feel that I know anything about anything anymore. If this is the preteen years, I can't wait till he turns to become a teenager. But what I appreciate most about my year as Rotary Club president is that that's when I truly became a Rotarian. It really was a year that I experienced and saw, the power of Rotary. Our club really was going off into a venture of what I believe was one of its first major international projects that we did on its own. This was a multi-year project that was led by Hijama, who was international committee chair at the time, and another club member by the name of Anne Marie Thompson. We partnered at that time with an organization called Giving Back to Africa, which was dedicated to a mission of educating young people in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So they work with Congolese schools and institutions and non-governmental organizations to try to provide service-oriented education to allow the students over there to become service leaders. Sounds like a pretty good tie-in for Rotary. When you look at Rotary's areas of focus, it's certainly Project Check Them All. Through our partnership with GBA, we were able to provide essential resources to a local school and basically provided them desks, provided them, lockers and things of that nature that they could lock away their school supplies because obviously crime was an issue in this particular area. We also provided fencing for a local garden to, again, to help secure that, in addition to providing basically a water source for them, for their irrigation and hygiene needs. So this project was certainly a powerful testament to the collaboration of how Rotary works worldwide and how a little club here in Bloomington, Indiana can make a difference, overall. And it was also very heartening for me to really see the collaboration that we had with other clubs, around our area, including Bloomington Sunrise, Washington, of course, Kanasha Club in Gombe. And then, of course, we also had another Rotary Club in Germany that participated in this venture. Certainly it wasn't without, obstacles, but, as Rotarians, we always find a way through. Democratic Republic of the Congo at the time was on the, State Department's watch list. I don't think we really knew what that meant at the time, but we found out real quickly what that meant. But again, the power of Rotary, we did find a way to get the funds through and to get them over there to the people that needed them as well. Certainly this project did have an impact not only on the young people over in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but it also did have a pretty good impact on a young person here by the name of Morgan Shear. If many of you remember that name, he actually, to raise awareness and funds, walked the Appalachian Trail. And again, that was documented. We actually did have a publication on it that was basically put out, in regards to his ventures there. And so again, and it also created for me what I consider was my Rotary moment when I did have the opportunity to meet with the president of the club in Kanasha at the time. And certainly we were able to meet at the Rotary International Conference in Lisbon, Portugal. And what's so unique about it is I'm certainly not fluent in French. He was not fluent, in English, but somehow we managed to communicate, said that we were going to meet at the House of Friendship. And of course, at that time, I was asking myself, well, how am I going to communicate and things of that nature? But lo and behold, the power of Rotary, I met a Canadian who was fluent in French. So I'm like, I'm good to go. And sure enough, he brought an English translator as well. So again, the power of Rotary came through. So again, I encourage all of you to take advantage of your opportunities, Rotary, that provide you. It certainly is a phenomenal organization. And certainly my year as president certainly enlightened me on to the power of what it's able to do worldwide. So thank you. Mhm.
Thank you, Lance. And I just want to remind everyone that we've had a lot of the previous presidents come up and share their time, what we've done, and the spectrum of what the good that this club, you as individuals, we as a community, is able to do, not just only locally, but internationally, is amazing. So that was very inspirational, and thank you for sharing. All right, birthdays: John Armstrong on the 12th, Martha Foster on the 11th, Gus on the 9th, Martha Wales the 8th, and Lexi Walters on the 11th. And then for anniversaries, we have Sam Udek, who is 2 years with Rotary. For announcements, everyone should know who their lunch buddies are. If you don't, it's on the roundabout. Get the link. Please make sure you're giving your lunch buddy a call. I had my call with Raj Hadawi yesterday. It was fabulous. You got to love that long distance capability. And Raj, I'm not sure if you're on or not, but it was fabulous talking with you, and we love that you still connect with us. Next announcement, Alon Barker, and keep me honest on this, Alon, this is what Bev had told me. You're performing a flute and piano recital with Bev McGuey and it's at Bell Trace this Friday at 1:15. Is that the correct time? Okay, thank you. And I will just tell you that Jeff Richards and I had a chance to see him practicing. It was amazing. It's 7 movements. It's a flute, his flute playing. I knew you were good. I had no idea how good you were. So if you can make it, I highly encourage you. In the news of medical, Reverend Forrest Gilmore is a couple of pounds lighter as he had his appendix removed this week, and he's recovering nicely and should be back in action this week. And Ivy Tech sent us an invite and thank you notes for our scholarship students, Amelia Mercer, Ariel Suher, and Gracie Brown. The thank you notes are up at the table. And if you're able to join, they're having a reception on the 18th at the Ferguson Academic Building on Ivy Tech's campus from 5:30 to 7. It'd be great if we could show up for that. And on that note, we're going to do some hyper happy dollars for scholarships, because we need about $1,000 to close the gap on providing scholarships for our students. We want to fund 3 high school scholarships and 3 Ivy Tech scholarships. And if we raise $3,000, we can fund 4 high school scholarships. So with that, Michael, do we have any happy dollars out there?
Saw a lot of hands go up. Good afternoon, everyone. Last week I gave a reflection and it was brilliant. But it was on diversity, equity, and inclusion. However, my wife told me that I took much too long. So I apologize to the president, to my club members, and I have $50 for my gaffe for the happy dollars. Thank you.
I'll just donate $50. I'm just happy to find a parking place to be able to be here today.
I've got 5 happy dollars because my sister's closet got word this morning that we've been approved for a loan for our building.
I have $5 from my beloved in honor of my beloved's birthday tomorrow.
Okay, I've got 5 $2 bills. Just so I could get rid of them.
I have 20 happy dollars because I got to spend my birthday with my 2 sisters, which is a very rare occurrence. And we were in New York, and I also got to spend some quality time with George Clooney on Broadway. And I recommend you all go do the same thing.
Hello, I have 20 happy dollars. Our daughter Sophie came home in early March from the University of Washington, stayed at home for 3 weeks while we fed her and did her laundry, completed her thesis, and was awarded her master's in public health from the University of Washington. And the $20 is the money I saved from spring tuition because she graduated a quarter early.
Kim Gray, I've got 4 happy dollars. Sorry, the rest is Kyrgyz sums, but it's really wonderful to see all of you be back in Rotary and see so many new faces in the club.
And Liz Speidel, I have $20. I'm just excited and thrilled to be a part of such activism in our community and country right now.
Yes, I've got 50 happy dollars because Kim Gray is here today, and she was unbelievable during my presidency.
I'll take $50 as well, but Natalie, I don't have the cash, so apologies if you could put that on my account. Just to be grateful for the company of everybody here in Rotary today.
Hi, I've got 30 happy dollars, and I just want to let everyone know the Mohammadi family, the Afghan family we've all been helping, their daughter Amina got married yesterday to her longtime fiance Jawad, who's been living with us, and they are now on their 2-day honeymoon. So a big congratulations to them.
I've got, well, it's only 5 happy dollars, but I'm happy. This after all this rain, our house did not get flooded again. So I'm really happy. The roof leaks, but the house didn't get flooded.
I'm happy because I get to serve on the scholarship committee every year, and that means I get to meet some incredible high school students who really need the scholarships that we give them for their stepping into college. So I'm in for $200 because if we're going to hit that $1,000 or $3,000 level, we're going to have a few people step up.
I have $25 to graduate to my granddaughter Lizzie came when I was once greeting here and insisted on greeting all of you. You might have remembered her. She's a pistol. And she has just discovered that she will now be a psychiatrist. And she will be living in Denver. I'm happy it took so long to get to me. We got a lot of money. I'm giving $20 because people came out and spoke on Saturday, and I was happy to be in this community and part of it. And we can keep speaking, everybody. I'll keep speaking even with this wretched voice. Thank you. And I may even have a question.
We may come back.
Here's $20, and I was gone for a couple of months this winter, and I'm really happy to be back here and be reminded of all of the good that the Rotary does in the whole world.
Good stuff. One more. Oh, you want?
Yeah, I'm going to give $100. My father and brother did a trip to Western Oklahoma, where Dad is from, and they flew out there, drove, and if anybody's been out there, my husband will tell you it's where God said goodnight. And I'm giving $100 because I didn't have to go because they drove from there to Lubbock, Texas. So thank you for not making me go.
I'm giving 60 from Don and I because you shipped Aubrey to London and we got to go visit her and didn't have to pay for a master's. So thanks.
That's awesome. And last online, anyone online?
Yes, right. I give $25 in honor of my lunch buddy yesterday, our president. And hopefully this will start to be considered as initiative for a future lunch buddy to reach out for me to have lunch. And I will honor every time my buddy call on me.
Oh, thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone. Sorry, but we got to get to the program. Oh, well, there you go. I'd have given you that for free. Anyway, and let me, Baker, where are you? Michael Baker. We are really TikTok. Just saying. He had to bring TikTok, if you all remember, because Michael can go on. Just saying. This is a reminder.
Hey, this is a crock. Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. Glad to be here today. President-elect Tracy and President Tracy and President-elect Steve Wicks and Miss Duke Energy Liz Irwin, please come forward. Steve, I've been told you're a manic bicyclist, so I'm assuming that you really enjoy 7th Street now that they've got 4-way stops on all of it and flags. But I got news. I think they're talking about putting a tunnel in for bikes. Okay, I'm sorry. Uh-oh, I'm wandering. So, Steve, you're relatively new to the club. I retired and moved here. And from what I've been told, you've been helping straighten out all of our finances and books and keeping everything in order and helping President Tracy. So thank you very much. Make sure you got all 3 of them here. Before we start, I do have some extra time according to President Tracy. And I know, I promised no more Microsoft jokes. Seriously, I did not promise. Of course, Tracy, your dad always said you were the apple of his eye. For any ministers here, that's Proverbs 7.2. Anyway, did you hear Microsoft is introducing a new version of Windows? It's going to reboot every 15 minutes just to keep us on our toes. Okay. So anyhow, we move on. So you know by now that donations to Rotary International Foundation support all the good things Rotarians do all over the world. Probably now more than ever. Clean water, sanitation, supporting vaccinations of polio and measles and other diseases. And strong work, I think, as important as anything, is dialogue between people that don't know each other, people that live in different countries. That's one of the central core values of Rotary, and contributions to Rotary Foundation help support that. Today, we recognize Tracy for her Paul Harris Fellow +2, and I'm going to have her father come up to help pin that. Steve, for your first Paul Harris Fellow, and Liz for her Paul Harris Fellow +2. So we'll do the pinning now. Can you come up, Winston? And yeah, this is Liz. That's Tracy. She's right there. Right there. Okay. Thank you. Rotarians, would you please rise and help me recognize these three people?
I think that was record time with Mike at the mic. So, Jim Shea, would you introduce our guest, please? Because I think we have quite a few people here who are interested in hearing what he has to say.
Well, hello, Rotarians. It is my distinct honor to introduce one of our own today, John Whikart. Those of you know John, he's kind of an understated guy. So he sent me two versions of his bio. The first one was 2 sentences. And after I get through the full one, I think you'll smile at that notion too. John had a 23-year career in higher ed in Indiana. He taught courses in public policy and political science at IU Kokomo and Ivy Tech Bloomington. He was executive director for administration for 10 years at Ivy Tech campuses at South Bend and Kokomo. Amazingly, he had 13 years as chancellor of Ivy Tech Bloomington. He retired in 2014 and was named Chancellor Emeritus by the trustees. While Chancellor, John managed to find time to serve on over 30 local and state boards and commissions. Prior to higher ed, John served in municipal and state government in Indiana. He was chief of staff for the Senate Democratic Caucus when the late great Governor Frank O'Bannon was Senate Minority Leader. After retiring from Ivy Tech, John returned to service as deputy mayor of Bloomington under Mark Cruzan. And before all that, he taught in elementary, middle, and high schools in Indiana. So back to Ivy Tech. In 2002, which it's hard to believe it's been that long, John led the move from the old Westbury campus to the really nice facility on West 3rd Street. He also, during that time, added the Life Sciences Building in 2006 and the Lee Marchant School of Nursing in 2014. So this experience in overseeing major development in public buildings has him very well prepared for his role at the Capital Improvement Board in Monroe County, where he is the president since 23 and getting ready to launch the addition of the convention center. So, do you think 2 sentences would have done that justice? I don't think so either. Welcome to one of our own, John Whikart.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. I appreciate the introduction. I think about 50% of you listened to some of that and thought, apparently early in my career, I could not hold a job for very long. But I was very fortunate that I had a lot of opportunities to serve in city government in Kokomo when my best friend got elected mayor and we were 32 years old. And that was a wonderful experience. One of our first editorials about us was, let's just hope this is inexperience. And so we learned a lot from that. Had the opportunity that Governor O'Bannon gave me to come and work with him in the state Senate, and then had the opportunity when Jerry Lampkin asked me to come here and serve as chancellor. So I've been very blessed in my career. I want to recognize people around the room, my CIB fellow board members, Jim Silberstein, Doug Bruce, who's president and owner of Tabor Bruce Architects. And Doug gives an amazing amount of his time to this project because we have these biweekly construction meetings. And Doug is the architect who serves on our board. I was an English major, so it's good to have an architect when you're building a convention center. Jeff McKim is our newest member of the board. Jeff served on the county council, was one of those votes for the food and beverage tax that made this whole project possible. I want to recognize Liz Feidel from the county council. My friend Andy Ruff from the city council. Andy and I met when I first came to Bloomington, so it's now been 24 years ago. Andy was on the city council. I asked him to go to breakfast. You won't remember this, but I do. We had breakfast at the Runcible Spoon. I wanted to let him know about Ivy Tech and what I was doing. The reason I bring that up is, dude, it's been 24 years. You've never bought me breakfast in 24 years. I mean, it's like a social contract, dude. I mean, you know, breakfast for breakfast, 24 years. My wife and I are both products of Bloomington, regardless of how much we've moved around. I was a student here in the 60s, came back in the 70s and worked in the old Monroe County Community Action Program, worked with Phyllis Trinkle, who Charlotte may remember. I'd like to say that my wife and I earned 4 degrees from Indiana University. She likes to say she earned 3 of them, but it's okay that I can at least say that between us we have those 4 degrees. So anyway, I've been involved in this project off and on now for 8 years. There are some who claim this has been a 30-year project, but at least for the last 8 years, through 3 iterations of various boards who have been trying to move this project forward. So I parked in Martinsville to walk here today, trying to find my way here. Worse than parking was when I leaned over into the car and realized that my notes for the presentation are still on the dining room table at home. So I'll try to work my way through these slides rather quickly, and then we'll have time for your questions. So let me move to the first one, which is, you know, why are we building this expanded convention center that currently can host up to 250 conventionaires, and the new expansion can host up to 500. Why are we doing that? Well, first, we are turning away about 100 conventions a year who want to come here, and we simply don't have the space to host them. But you can see from the slide that there is an economic impact and benefit to the community for expanding this convention center. The market analysis that was done said that we can anticipate $9 million new dollars being generated annually here by visitors if we can double the space in the convention center to spend in our local restaurants, transportation, retail shops. We can anticipate seeing an additional $13 to $18 million in revenue generated in new direct wages, indirect wages for supplemental support of a convention center, and new tax revenues. Property tax, we're going to build a hotel. Innkeepers and food and beverage tax. We currently raise about $4 million a year in the innkeepers tax, which supports the operation of the convention center, and about $4 million a year roughly in food and beverage tax. And that's been a consistent number. It was down during the pandemic. It's back up again. Both of those should increase. If we jump from 500 visitors, or from 250 visitors to 500, innkeepers tax is going to, revenue is going to go up, as will food and beverage tax. We know that during construction, we're going to create over 600 new jobs over the next 18 months in this project. It's anticipated we'll see 500 new long-term jobs in the hospitality industry. That includes not only with a new host hotel with 200 rooms in it, but the stabilization in restaurants and in other local businesses that are going to support this kind of traffic. Some people say, well, jobs in the hospitality industry, those are probably going to be rather low-paying jobs. I would suggest to you that I think there are around 800 students in the Ivy Tech hospitality program right now, in hospitality management and culinary, who will be very eager for these jobs created by this expansion project. And they will, and I would argue that they will not necessarily be low-paying jobs. The local, we've selected Weddle Brothers to manage this property for us, for the expansion for us. And we emphasize the fact we want to use local suppliers on this project. We want to buy things locally for this project. So those are all economic benefits of the project. I'm going to keep this up here briefly. We've had these project goals all along from the very beginning. Obviously, we have to expand space in order to host twice as many conventioneers, both in the facility as well as what we need to do with the hotel. You know, we wanted to create some inspiring architecture, and I hope when I show you some renderings here at the end, you will agree that we've hopefully done a pretty good job with that. We wanted to showcase the uniqueness and amenities of Bloomington, enhance connectivity, change sustainability and achieve sustainability, and those have been our goals as we've designed and moved towards construction on this project. Progress to date since 2023, and I want to move back a little bit in terms of time here because if you think back to when I was first involved in this project in 2017, when we had the first advisory group, in late 2017, the county council passed the food and beverage tax. And that came about because of an agreement between the city and the county that the revenues from that food and beverage tax would be used for this convention center. And the city's portion of it's divided proportionally by where the money is raised in the food and beverage tax. The city's portion is 90%, the county's portion is about 10%. The city and the city council committed all 90% of the food and beverage tax revenues to this project. So to date, that has been an escrowed amount of about $22 million in total for this project. Now 90% or 10%, $2 million is the county's portion. But $20 million is sitting now in an escrowed account, if you will, for this project. The project's going to be a $52 million project in construction, another $20 million in soft cost, architectural and engineering, utilities, professional services, a construction manager, an owner's representative. So it's basically a $71 million project. 52 million will be generated by revenue bonds. The other 20 is sitting in escrow right now through food and beverage tax. And later that food and beverage tax will be used as revenue to retire the debt on the bond. So we're currently earning about $4 million. That will go up to retire that bond. The county created the Capital Improvement Board by ordinance in July of 2023. This project stalled in 2019. And it stalled. We'd like to use the pandemic as an excuse for lots of things. I mean, terrible things resulted from the pandemic and it slowed lots of things down. The reality is this project had stopped in 2019, the year before we really began to feel the impacts of the pandemic. And why did it stop? I like to say that the county and the former city administration used to enter into these, I refer to them as the memoranda of misunderstanding, about how this project was going to move forward. So they would write a memorandum about what was going to happen, and then they would disagree about what that memorandum meant, and that went on and on. And finally in 2019, and basically it was a matter of control over the project, quite frankly. The former mayor believed that if 90% of that money was going to come from city generation, that the city should own this project and the city should make decisions about this project. The county, on the other hand, believed that because they are the owner of the current convention center, and they took the political heat for passing the food and beverage tax, that they should have some control over, and this should be a joint venture between the city and the county. And they frankly could not agree. So in 2019, the project stopped. Certainly the pandemic kept it from resurfacing. What made it resurface in 2023 was the state legislature. And the state legislature, who on slow days looks to the Republic of Bloomington in the South, the People's Republic of Bloomington, and thinks, what can we do in Bloomington to kind of see what we might stir up in Bloomington, Indiana? And the legislature decided in 2020 to pass new legislation that said the following: the food and beverage tax that you've been raising since 2018, basically, that you're not spending, must be spent solely on the construction of a convention center. So those who argue we have other issues in Bloomington that we need to deal with financially, we certainly do, but the food and beverage tax cannot be used for anything but the construction of the convention center. And they said, secondly, if you don't have written plans, the city and the county, by December of 2023, then your food and beverage tax is repealed. You can no longer collect it. If you're not spending it on what you said you were collecting it for, then you're not going to collect it anymore. Well, that prompted action. And so the county commissioners passed an ordinance that created a capital improvement board. We exist under state statute. Excuse me, we're a 7-member board, 2 appointees from the mayor, 2 appointees from the county commissioners, an appointee from the county council, an appointee from the city council, and then the 6 of us select a 7th member of the board. The mayor's appointments and the county commissioner's appointments have to be bipartisan, so 1 Republican, 1 Democrat from each. And the Capital Improvement Board is a neutral, bipartisan board. So the city council's next step, and why the interlocal is so important, is that the county council, the city council, the mayor, and the county commissioners entered into an agreement on how we were finally going to move forward now that we had a capital improvement board to build this convention center. And basically, and I think most importantly, is they agreed to turn the project over to a neutral body and allow the capital improvement board to move this project forward without, frankly, interference from the 4 political entities. And that has worked extremely well. Now, granted, in the beginning, were there some hiccups? Yes, there were. It would not surprise you that when public policy is passed and 4 different parties have agreed to what they think it means, that in the interpretation of what it means, they go, wait a minute, that wasn't exactly what I thought it meant. But we've worked our way through that. And we are where we are today because of that cooperation between all 4 of those governmental entities. As we move forward in the food and beverage tax, I notice on the notes here, the city council and the FABTAC is the Food and Beverage Tax Advisory Commission, which was created when we passed the tax. And there are appointees on that commission from the county and from the city. Any expenditure of food and beverage tax dollars has to go before that board. They have to recommend back to the city council that the city council appropriate that 90% of the money back towards this project. So we've moved through those processes over the last couple of years. We've retained professional services. We determined that we were going to build the convention center expansion to the east of the current building. That was a change from 2019. In 2019, Mayor Hamilton wanted us to build the convention center itself on the former Bunger Robertson property, which is on the corner of 3rd and College Avenue. And he indicated, after purchasing that property in 2 different installments, one was if you purchase something for $5 million, it requires the city council's approval. And the redevelopment commission purchased it for $4,995,000. So the redevelopment commission purchased the property with revenues from the TIF revenues in one payment. In 2023, the mayor purchased the second property, which was the parking lot. So there's been a total expenditure of $7 million for that Bunger Robertson property. As we moved into 2024, the new mayor had a different idea about that property. And in fairness, she has every right to have a different opinion about that. Her opinion was if we wanted to build the convention center on the property, we needed to reimburse the $7 million that had been spent for it. So it went from donated in 2019 for control to if you want it in 2024, you need to reimburse $7 million. We already had, as a capital improvement board, property on the east, property on the south, property on the west. And it did not seem to us that we needed to expend $7 million out of the food and beverage tax when we had other properties. So we determined to expand to the east, which is, you may think of that as the Napa Building location for early voting. It's between College and Walnut, that block right there. So that's where the expansion will take place. If you've been by there lately, you'll see it's been blocked off, barriered off. Parking isn't there anymore. Trees came down a couple of weeks ago as we're moving forward on the project. Moving from there, we've had over 31 public meetings on this project now, including initial meetings clear back in July of 2024 on design. Started with 5 different designs, went to 3. I've ended up where I will show you we've ended up now. We convened a BEAD advisory group, and BEAD is the Bloomington Entertainment and Arts District, created under Mayor Cruzan. Geographically, its location is 9th Street on the north, Indiana Avenue, Sample Gates on the east. I'm directionally challenged, so if I mess this up, I apologize. On the south, it includes the Convention Center and down to 2nd Street. And on the west, it's over to Rogers Street. So the Bloomington Entertainment and Arts District encompasses all of the performance spaces, all of the galleries, all of the restaurants, all of the international restaurants that are located in that geographic area. And the BEAD is one of only 11 cultural districts in the state of Indiana. It's one of only 11 cultural districts in the state of Indiana. And your confusion or surprise is justified because you haven't heard about it for years. It is somewhat languished. It hasn't been talked about much. It is our belief as a capital improvement board that if we're going to market a new convention center, we need to embrace the Bloomington Entertainment and Arts District as one of the reasons, one of the marketing tools we have for this project. So we have a BEAD advisory group. It's led by Galen Cassidy, owner and manager of the Uptown Cafe. Its membership includes the director of Wonder Lab, Malcolm Abrams from Bloom, Janet Clash Gallery, which is a little east of the Uptown, Holly Warren from the city. And we have tasked them in the first stage of this. The project is required to spend 1% of its budget on art. So we have a $52 million budget. That's $520,000 of art installations in this project. And we've asked that BEAD advisory group to tell us how to spend that $520,000. I recognize good art, I think, when I see it. I can't pick it out nowhere, so that's why we need a BEAD advisory group to do that for us. And we've had presentations with the city, county elected officials on and on and on. One thing I want to get to rather quickly here is that we issued requests for proposals for hoteliers, because what's very important in this project is we have to have a new host hotel in the downtown adjacent to this convention center that's a full service hotel. And by full service, we mean it's got a restaurant, it's got a bar, it's got a wellness center, it's got valet parking, it's got all the things you think about when you think about a full service hotel. And we had 3 developers who responded to that, and we selected Dora Hospitality as the developer we wanted to move forward with this new hotel. We'd said to them, to all 3 of them in the RFP, we own land to the south you can build towards. We own land to the west, that parking lot to the west of the Beeline Trail, you can build there. And all 3 of them said, we want to go north to the Bunger-Robertson property. And we said, makes a lot of sense to us, but it's not ours. So Dora, you're the hotel we've selected. If you want that Bunger-Robertson property, you need to negotiate that with the city, with the redevelopment commission, because it's not our property to negotiate for. I bring that up because recently you may have seen in the news at our last Capital Improvement Board meeting, I talked about the urgency of some progress on what's happening between the hotel and the city and the redevelopment commission. I bring it up because we selected Dora 6 months ago. 6 months have passed. All the developers told us that a hotel is 2.5 years out once everything's been approved and it can be built. We are now about to launch and open a convention center expansion in January of 2027, and a hotel that's 2.5 years from the time it's approved to construction is going to lag behind the opening of that convention center. And every month that we don't see movement on that is another month of delay. Will we be able to work around that in 2027? I believe we will, because we have within that bead district, again, which I want to emphasize is a constant focus of ours, there are multiple hotels in the downtown area. Frankly, none of them have to do anything to be successful with a convention center, because when you've got a host hotel with 200 rooms and 500 people looking for 200 rooms, somebody's going to benefit. We've all been to conventions where the early bird gets you into the host hotel, and then later you get into the overflow hotels. So the overflow hotels can benefit from whatever pricing happens with the host hotel whenever we have conventions. But I'm hopeful that they will see an opportunity before that opens up to work together in a fashion to help us as a community and a convention center as we await the opening of that hotel. City council, well, we approved the name, Bloomington Convention Center, and you might say, well, that was a no-brainer. Whikart could have figured that out himself. It is not as easy as you think. The current convention, it's not as easy as you think for me to do no-brainers. The current convention center is owned by Monroe County. It's a Monroe County. They've been the steward of that convention center for 31 years. And there is a sensitivity about the fact that the county government took the hit and the heat for the food and beverage tax. They are going to have to give up their convention center, and we're not going to recognize Monroe County in that name. And fortunately, as I talked with the county commissioners and I talked with the county council, with the presidents of those groups, and I said to them, we brought an advisory group together to tell us, what should we name this new building? And it was a large group, and they reached unanimity in 20 minutes and said, what we need to do is, it's about location and it's about use. When we market this around Indiana and around the nation, they want to know it's in Bloomington. Indiana has 92 counties. I pay attention to that when the weather advisories come up. And I know where Marion is, I know where Monroe is, I know where a bunch of them are. When I see Benton County, I'm thinking, good luck to those people up there. I don't know where that is, but there are 17 Monroe counties in the country. There are 3 Bloomingtons. To draw people back, Bloomington is the second highest tourism destination in the state of Indiana, right after Indianapolis, second highest. Why is that? Well, Indiana University's here. There are lots of amenities here. We have a cultural district here. They want to come here for those purposes. And so we need to market it. It's Bloomington, and it's a convention center. And there was talk about, well, it should be called a civic center. If you look at definitions of civic centers and convention centers by and large are places that co-house city and county governments, that co-house nonprofit organizations. When conventions are looking for places to go, they skip right past anything that's called civic center. They're looking for the word convention center. So it was Bloomington Convention Center, and fortunately for us, the leaders in county government agreed that's what you need to do to market that facility and to make it successful. What we need to market to internally is its uses as a civic center, as an opportunity for our citizens to come together in huge spaces, for forums like the League of Women Voters forums, for rate increase hearings, for all the things that we'd like to have more space for, but we don't now. Let me move quickly to some things I want to show you. Well, here's construction. Construction will be completed on the expansion in June of 2027. It will be 6 months later before there's renovation to the current building. So we are balancing the renovations with the construction. So January of 2027 is when this new building will open up. I don't know how well you can see this. By and large, the important thing about the new expansion is it has a 30,000 square foot exhibit hall in it. And that 30,000 square foot exhibit hall has the opportunity for, if you're a sports fan, 4 basketball courts, 8 volleyball courts, 1,200 people for a sit-down dinner, 2,000 people to come in for a lecture if they want to, 150 vendors in this space because it's very flexible space. So that's the main attraction of the new building. This is just a site development plan. I'll quickly point out the green dots are new trees. for those of you concerned about trees, as we all should be. There's bicycle parking on either sides. Lots of these things are required by us and by the UDO. To the south, there are loading docks. There's a drive-up ramp into the exhibit hall. On the north, on 3rd Street, you see a cutout lane. That's for buses to drop off. The things you learn that you don't learn as a chancellor are that on one-way streets, buses don't open their doors into traffic. So you've got, you know, the north and south one-way streets, neither one of which are conducive for a bus to pull up and open its door because you're going to walk out into traffic. The only place a bus can unload is on 3rd Street. So 3rd Street, for us to do that, either requires a cutout lane, which we are working with city engineering. We've narrowed that lane down. We're very hopeful and convinced that's going to happen for us. And when we met with the plan commission or the planning staff, they were reluctant to say, well, yeah, a cutout lane seems okay. Or, you know, you can do other things. You can unload to the west of your current building. They can walk across the bridge. And I said, yes, unless you're disabled or your high school kids carrying stuff or whatever. And I said to them, look, we need a cutout lane. If we don't have a cutout lane, we'll do like the beer trucks on North Walnut Street. We'll just pull the bus up, we'll put the flashers on, we'll open the doors, and people will unload. We have no choice. So that's what you're seeing on the north side of the lot there. Green space on top. This is the space I talked about. This is a first floor drawing. To the left that I'm looking at is the current building. To the right, and you can see that huge exhibition space. That's the first floor. So you walk in and there's the exhibit space. Second floor, you see the bridge now, which was, you know, somewhat controversial for us to get to, but a bridge that for safety reasons, imagine 500 people unloading themselves physically onto the corner of 3rd and College, waiting for the light to walk back and forth across the street. So they're going to be able to move on that bridge between the two buildings. And this will be one convention center, 100,000 square feet convention center. We also needed to move food, to move equipment. So we have a bridge. That view you're seeing is on the 2nd floor. You're looking down on the exhibit hall. So you're up on the 2nd floor. There are meeting rooms, 3 meeting rooms up there. But by and large, you're looking down into the exhibit space. And again, I'm going to move through these rather quickly. We are on target to have LEED Silver certification for the building, the 50 credits that we need that include the things that you're seeing in this particular slide. The city council was very adamant they wanted that. We were adamant we wanted it. It's an all-electric building. I would only point out to those who say we don't want fossil fuels used in the building, that we burn coal to get electricity, but we've got an all-electric building. So there's no gas or anything else being used in the building. And these are elevation concepts. That top one that you see is if you're looking at the building, if you're on the north side and you're looking, that's the north side of the building on 3rd Street. The middle is if you're looking, if you're looking across Walnut Street, if you're at the bus station, the bus terminal, you're looking across Walnut Street, that's what you're looking at. And then the third one is if you're looking across from the current convention center at the building. So those are elevations. This I just wanted you to see because this building's going to have a sloped roof, which we think is extremely attractive architecturally. And then here's just some cool stuff, I think. Here's the exhibit hall that's used as breakout for dinners. This is a space outside that exhibit hall, pre-function space for people to walk and mingle. You know how you move around at convention centers and conferences. Again, this is one of the entrances off the northwest where you're walking into the building from the northwest. This is one of my favorite locations. It's a green garden on the 2nd floor where you walk out and it's exposed to the sky, the sun. You've got plants out there. About 100 people can congregate in there at a time. And then here's a view when you're looking from the northwest across the street at the building. Here's when you're looking down College Avenue and you can see the bridge between the two buildings. I think that's it. Well, let me I'm sorry it took so long.
Yeah, question for one question?
For several years, I've heard reference to 100 conventions we turned down because we're too small. are these inquiries? I ran a catering company for a long time and we get a lot of inquiries and we don't fit their needs for many reasons and we may fit all of them and they still don't choose us. How do you quantify these to be legitimate requests that would actually make the booking? The number always has just been this floating number in my brain and I've been concerned about it since day one.
Yeah, and my response to that is the numbers are coming from Mike McAfee at Visit Bloomington. Their inquiries, we'd like to come to Bloomington for a convention. There are 400 of us. And we want to come there. And the answer is, well, we don't have space for 400 people. So they are quantifiable connections that are being made to Visit Bloomington where we're getting inquiries from conventions who want to come here and we simply don't have the room. So that's where the figures are coming from.
We got time for one more online if anybody has it. No? Okay.
And we'll hang around if you have questions. Doug will answer any question that you have.
There is one question online. Tim?
Yes. I'm up in Maine, away from the flooding, visiting my family, but I can't see around who else is from your Ivy Tech days, but you were a great boss and you were managed to bring to Ivy Tech all kinds of outstanding speakers through the O'Bannon lectures and later Judy O'Bannon. What kind of things do you think we might attract to Bloomington with this kind of an structure and event?
Well, I think first and foremost, we think we have the ability to attract to Indiana-based conventions. So they be firefighters, they be librarians, they be those who are in the state of Indiana who are looking for an opportunity to come to Bloomington. They'd love to come to Bloomington. So, and then the second market is more of a national market. So I can't go through a list of those that have inquired and we've turned away, but we see first and foremost they being Indiana-based conventions, and then the second audience being a more regional or national audience. Oh.
Sorry, Charlotte. Sorry, Charlotte, we are at time. So that was phenomenal. Are we allowed to post your deck on our roundabout link? Okay, that'd be great. So, yes, thank you. Thanks, Bob. All right. In honor of your program, John, we'll be donating $100 for the quarter to the Bloomington Symphony in honor of the bead. There you go. How's that? The Bloomington Symphony in honor of the bead. And I'd like to acknowledge all of those who make this meeting possible. Natalie, and by the way, Natalie tallied up, we raised $924. We need 76 more dollars. Anyone? Okay, Alon's got us down for 76. So we hit 1,000. Thank you, Alon. And then Diana Hoffman for greeting. Thank you so much. Katie, thank you for stepping up and doing introductions. We love seeing new people doing it. That's great. Joy Harder for our Reflect Zoom, and then our Reflection. Lance, thanks for beating the buzzer and getting in here on that. Bob Zaltzberg, thank you for the reporting, and Jim for the pinch hitting. And then Michael, of course, for the camera and mic operation as always, and Isaac for the excellent job you do with the audio. Our next meeting will be on the 15th in the Georgian room here, and our speaker will be Virgil Sauter discussing the welfare of animals here in Monroe County. And with that, for those of you able to stand, let's do the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun?